As all authors have agreed that the brain furnishes the propelling forces to the nerves, it would be proper to inquire how the brain is nourished. If so, we will begin and say the great cerebral system of arteries supply the brain, of which it gives quality of all fluids and electric and magnetic forces which must be generated in the brain. Then a question arises. If the heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, lymphatics, kidneys are all parts of the body depend upon the brain for power, what do they give in return? If they give back anything, it must be of the kind of the organ from whence it comes. Thus, a kidney cannot give liver nor spleen. Each must help to keep up the universal harmony by furnishing its mite of its own kind. Suppose lung fever is the effect of lack of renal salts, where would be a better place to dispatch from the renal organs than the ears to reach the brain and touch the nerve that connects with the sympathetic ganglion. Cerumen in fluid state. Suppose we take the cerumen in its fluid state by the secretions to the lungs from the ears and see the action of air and other substances on it and it on them. We may safely look for a general action of some kind. If it be magnetic food, we will see the magnetic power shown in the lungs and through the whole system, vitalizing all organs and functions of life. Thus, the lymphatics will move to wash out impurities, and the nutritive nerves will rebuild lost energy. As but little is known or said of how or where the cerumen is formed, we will guess it is formed under the skin and the glands of the fascia and conveyed to the ears by the secretory ducts. Its place and how it is manufactured is not the question of the greatest importance, but its uses in disease and health. Winter kills babies. The writer has much reason to believe he has found a reliable pointer for the cause of croup diphtheria pneumonia, also a rational and easy cure that any mother can administer and save the babe from choking to death in her arms. Having witnessed croup in all its deadly work for 50 years and seen the best skill of each year and generation fail to save and even give relief, I lost all hope and grew to believe that there was no help, and the doctor was only one more witness to the scene of death and carnage found along the mysterious road that croup travels to slay the babies of the whole world. Of later days, we have new and different names for the disease, but alas, it kills the babe just as it did before. It was called diphtheria, la grippe, and so on. Some advice to mothers. I write this more for the mothers than for the critics. We say to mothers, as you are not osteopaths, you are perfectly safe in putting glycerin in a child's ears. It is made from oils and fats. I believe that when the wax is not consumed, it clogs up the excretories with dead matter. Thus, the irrigation of the nerves of the throat, neck, lungs, and lymphatics, which give cause for the swelling of the tonsils and glands of the neck. In this book can be found why I see wisdom in treating for croup from the nerve centers of the brain. So far, the uses and importance of healthy earwax as a cure for disease has had no attention that I can find by any author on disease or physiology. I hope time and attention may lead us to a better knowledge of the cure of diphtheria, croup, scarlet fever, and all diseases of the throat and lungs of children, and how to cure a greater percent than has been up to this writing. My experience up to date with such diseases, when treated as indicated, has been very encouraging. Though it is but a short time since I began to treat by this method, it has proven good with the young and old. As all authors so far seem silent even as to how or when the wax is formed, we must resort to much careful dissection to find the relation of the cerumen system to health. To intelligently acquaint the mother with the treatment who does not understand anatomy so as to give osteopathic treatment for croup, diphtheria, and so on, I will say, take a soft wet cloth and wash the child's neck and rub gently down from ears to breast and shoulders. Keep ears wet, often dripping in the glycerin. Use glycerin because it will mix with the water and dissolve the wax, while sweet oil and other oils will not do so. A case in point. At 2:00 p.m., I called to see a babe having malignant croup in its worst form and examined its ears to see condition of wax. I had noticed in consumptives that some cases had great quantities of dry wax in one or both ears, but to this time had not thought of such deposits being an evidence of lost or suspended action of the nerves that manufactured cerumen. In this case I found wax dry and very hard, with much swelling and hardness in region of ears, eustachian tubes, and tonsils. I reasoned that the excretory duct had been clogged, and that by wax being retained in ducts and glands, an irritation of the nerves of the cervical lymphatics has caused contraction near head and produced congestion of the lymphatics of the pneumogastric and cutting off nerves supply from lungs. Believing this to be very likely, I concluded to act on the above line of reasoning and see if I could give some relief. I did not stop to debate why the wax was hard and dry, but how to soften the wax was the question of interest to me then. So I proceeded. I reasoned that soap and water would be the best treatment to clean the ears and soften the wax. At this point, to select the best make of soap in the ears was to be desired, so I took pure glycerin and water, dropped in a few drops, and took a small roll of cloth, made it wet in warm water, and pushed it in ears to keep them wet. In a few minutes, I wet and inserted a soft cloth cork in the child's ears. I twisted the corks around in the ears, each time to mix the water and the wax to a softened condition, for to keep the wax wet was the object. In a few minutes I got the wax wet, and the child coughs up phlegm easily, and when the dreaded hour, 10 o'clock at night, came, all danger had passed. Connection of brain and other nerves in digestion. If digestion is the effect of organs, fluid, and forces, then the student of nature's law must be governed by well-known truths such as the location of the brain, connection of the nerves to other organs, bringing all parts interested in digestion in mental view. Thus, you have a chance to know if one organ has assisting relation to any other organ or system, or if its products are of general or special use. A few questions at this point of inquiry would be in place. Does the brain give assistance in digestion, and why may we reasonably suppose so? When digestion does its work normally and has a full, rich supply of blood, yet disease enters the system and brings its work with general weakness, swelling, wastings, and pain, with some or all the glands congested and sore, and a plenty of rich blood all the time. Then are we justified to go to the brain and examine the electric and magnetic batteries? We know such forces exist, but as their location in the brain is not known farther than the fact of their existence, we do not know how they are fed, nor from where, so we are fully warranted in seeking a use for both powers, magnetic and electric. One says the power of electricity belongs more to the motor nerves and the magnetic to the nutrient system. If not, they are happily blended and give the results. Without such forces, life and motion could not be sustained, as it is not my object to write a treatise on general physiology. I will turn at once to the subject of the relation of life and health as affected by the abnormal supply and action of earwax. Unaided investigation. As our investigations are without the assistance of ancient or modern writers, we will have to reason that man is a machine of form and power, forming its own parts and generating its own powers as it has use for them. At this time we begin to reason thus, that all powers are invisible and we see effect only. We know such forces to be abundant in nature, and life is sustained by them. To find the substances in the body that causes them to act and just how to act has been the object of my journey as an explorer. If they give us health when normal action prevails and disease only when abnormal, then we are admonished to form a more intimate acquaintance with the qualities and with all the products when formed in this great laboratory which compounds and qualifies each substance to fill its mission of forces, construction, purity, and action.